It's nearly Christmas. You know what that means? The wonderful Celica has treated me to an early Christmas present. The heaters have stopped working. Buddy, it's December. Why you do this? I'm pretty sure I know what the issue is. The heater matrix up under there, there's a control valve on the other side that is linked to. So when you turn that, it opens or closes the valve. That lets water through the heater matrix, and that's where your fan blows through. So if it's running hot water through there, you blow the fan through, fans blow hot. They've been cooling down gradually over about a week, and yesterday just went dead cold. So that, I reckon, is, I mean, given there's no pool of coolant on there, I don't think it's leaking. The engine's not overheating, so I'm fairly confident it's just a blocked core, because there's a lot of sludge in the overflow. It ain't the cleanest coolant, although it's had a new radiator, so it is new-ish coolant. It's not the cleanest, so I reckon there's probably a lot of sediment built up in there, and it's just gradually blocked up the inlet or the outlet side, whichever way. So I'm going to go figure that out, flush it through with a hose. That should do it. I'm going to get some silicone hoses, but that'll be a whole separate thing. For now, I just need to get it working over Christmas so I don't freeze to death every time I drive it. Also, yes, it's nearly 4 o'clock and it will be getting dark very quickly. Would it be me if it wasn't the most inconvenient timing for anything ever? So this is the valve I was talking about. When you move the hot and cold thing, opens and closes this, coolant comes in, goes into here. So that's your inlet, I assume, and then the lower hose is the outlet. So I just need to take those off and blast it through with some nice clean water, flush all the crap out. Hopefully that'll do it. But this is crunchy, this pipe down here. I don't know how it's going to go. I should mention the other things that could cause issues are things like the thermostat. Shush. Things like the thermostat, which is, that's the housing there, if you ever need to know. Why are you focusing on my arm? Take that bolt. Ah, bitch, that's really hot. Okay, take that bolt out, take the dipstick out of the way. There's 2 bolts, one top, one bottom, holding the housing, pull the housing out. There you go. The reason I'm fairly confident it's not that is because everything either side of that is hot. So that the radiator is getting hot, the pipe here, this one's getting hot, that one's getting hot. It's a little bit collapsed, but it's fine. There's a story behind that. This one gets hot, rad gets hot, everything gets hot, except the outlet pipe of the heater, which is, like I said, that one there. So everything even up to here gets hot, and then that one doesn't. So I've just grabbed this, so what I'm going to try and do is take, I think that's roughly the same size, looks about right. I'm going to try and take one side off and have this on it ready to divert it downwards, because I don't want to flood the distributors like directly in the firing line. I don't think that will take kindly to being doused in coolant, so I'm going to try and avoid that. I'm going to try and avoid getting it anywhere really, and I'll stick a bucket underneath to catch whatever comes out the bottom, at least for the first bit. Whilst it's coolant, catch it, because that needs to be properly disposed of. Once it's just water in there, I'll just let it flow onto the floor. It's not going to make much of a difference. So I'm going to grab my bucket and we'll start flushing through. So all it is just take, obviously, these clips, slide them back, pull the hose off. Be fucking careful, because these are normally brittle as anything. The actual plastic inside gets really brittle, and if that snaps, you're having a bad day. Like, there's no 2 ways. If we snap that, we're in trouble. As a surprise to absolutely no one, it got dark. No, basically those 2 hoses were like damn near welded in. There was no sense in pulling on them and either ripping the hoses, which would have been inconvenient because I don't have any replacements, or worse than that, snapping the plastic bits that they feed onto, because that's like death sentence. Like, then you've got to go and buy or find parts to replace that with, and that whole ordeal I do not want to get into. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy a silicon kit now. It's literally Christmas Eve. We're 4:51 on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to buy the kit now. If it turns up before January, happy days. If it doesn't, so be it. It will get done in the new year. But that's going to make much more sense to have the parts ready to then be able to just cut the hoses off. Like, as long as the silicon's all good, it's a whole kit, it's for this car, it's for this engine, it should be good. And then I'll just cut the hoses off, and then I don't risk damaging the plastics with it being like grot welded to it. So yeah, that's the plan. Like I say, 4:51 Christmas Eve. I reckon the next video will be some point in, I don't know, March. Who knows? We'll see. Cool, we're back. It's the 3rd of January. It's the 3rd of January. I started this before Christmas. Oh, this is great. Yeah, same scenario. We gave up, it got dark, and then some weeks passed. I'm going to take this one off first. The one underneath it needs to come off because that one I can feel is crusty and full of crap. So yeah, just clip there, clip there. I did the sensible thing and bought the silicone hose kit because, yeah, you just might as well, eh? But some of them I'm probably not going to fit today because I can't actually see where half of them go at the moment. And I just don't want to. So I'll fit the ones I can. Even if it's just these two and gets it unclogged, then happy days. But we've an interesting new development in that the car didn't want to start this morning, so I think the battery might be roached from the cold. I'm going to deal with that one later. That's a whole different problem. Let's get some hoses off. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we took the two hoses off. No coolant came out. Like none. I undid the radiator cap because I'm an idiot, and it started coming out of one of the pipes, this one, I think, which is the inlet, but nothing came out of here. Like, you see, there's coolant in the hoses, but nothing came out. I'm wondering if it's just because it's on like a slight slope downwards, but we're just going to stick the hose on it, blast it through, see what happens. Cool, so we've just chucked one of the new ones on the top as a feed, stuck an old one on the bottom aiming down to try and limit how much it sprays everywhere. There is a catch can underneath, so hopefully it won't go too badly, but let's just send a hose through it and see what happens. I'm nervous about this. The fact nothing's coming out doesn't fill me with joy. Oh, do you see the brown? Oh, I'm getting so fucking cold. See that? See, it's just dripping out. Oh, for the distributor. Nice one. It's fine, the engine needs a wash anyway. Oi, oi. Something that seals this a little bit better because it's not really getting the force. It's coming out a lot cleaner anyway. Yeah. So that's an improvement. Oh man, so hot. With damp. Yeah, there you go. So we're just going to reverse flush it. So swap the hoses round. We're going to fill it in from the bottom, and it's going to come out the top, and that hopefully is going to get a lot of the crap that's kind of embedded one way. So we've got one way and now we're going the other way, and that should get most of what's left, hopefully, and hopefully not me. Yeah, there you go, so that's back to pure brown water. Mate, creaky hose. I mean, that went quite well actually. That flowed a lot better that way than it did the other way. -4 degrees. Just going back the other way now because it wasn't flowing as happily this way as it was the other way. Yeah, look, that's heaps better now. Cool, so that's flushed out. One new pipe on, left the bottom one on because it goes under the distributor into awful places that I can't get to without taking lots more parts off, and I don't want to do that at the moment, so I'm not going to. We did flush the pipes through. They don't seem to be blocked. It seems to have just been the heater core, because that was really difficult to get coolant through on the very first run. So hopefully there's still enough fluid in there that's not going to cause an air pocket. It still opens the thermostat and cycles through. I've got this coolant fill bucket thing, so I'm going to chuck that in, and then I'll just dump concentrated coolant, because the heater core is now full of water. Dump concentrated coolant in, and hopefully that should mix in the system. If you come back to fires and explosions, then it's not gone well. So we're going to run it up now. These buckets are incredible. I should have bought one sooner. I'm an idiot. But that is now just going to sit there quite happily. That is concentrated coolant, but we just filled half of it with water, so it's okay. That's going to sit there and drip, drain down as the thermostat opens. Hopefully there's enough fluid in there that actually is still circulating and the thermostat does open. But this is just going to go now till it warms up. I've got the heaters on, but the blower's off, because you don't want to steal heat from it, but you want it to circulate through the heater matrix. So I'm just going to let that sit there now, warm up to temperature, and then fingers crossed that will drain through. I have got some pre-mixed coolant, not a complete animal, if it goes a little bit too concentrated. But yeah, this fucking bucket, man. Sick, look at it go. I'm expecting lots of brown sludge to come out, because the coolant in here is gross. Probably needs changing, which is on the list, but the list is long and never ending. Yeah, good stuff. So the development is not good. This is quite clearly warm. You can see the steam coming off it. The radiator, top of the radiator is fucking hot. This pipe here is stone cold. That means it's a stuck thermostat, which is really annoying, which is the one thing I didn't want it to be. But you live and learn. That heater core was fucking blocked anyway, that was gross. But yeah, I think thermostat's next on the list. We're just doing the thermostat now, just went and got the part. Easy enough to get to. The bolt there holds the dipstick on, that's a 12mm, and then you've got two 10mm. You've got one there just underneath, and the other one, that's a later problem. The other one, I'm hoping I can show you, is on the top of the housing, just there you go. So just in there, they're both not, yep, no, they're both 10mm. That one's a 12mm, and I've just slacked it off to let the coolant run out, because I don't know how hot it is. I've just driven it to get the part. Don't do this when it's hot, it's stupid. I'm just going to drain it into that tub down there. Yeah, that is a bit steamy. Drain it into the tub, and then once that's done emptying its guts, take this whole piece out and hopefully not drop anything else.
I don't have the patience for it.
Oh, honestly, I lose patience so easily, but this is a good chance to like reset. Like, get the camera out, think about what I'm doing. It makes me think about it. So,
that's true.
So that's just pulled out of the block there. There's your thermostat. Good build, Toyota, nice job, well done. O-ring there is crusty as shit. This is the new one. I'm not wholly convinced. It was done on the reg number, so here's what it is. This plate at the end is the same size, a bit slightly more beveled on this one. That's like a solid disc. This is like a stamped. This is cheap, basically. As long as it fits and sits where it needs to and does the job, I'm happy to get a genuine Toyota one in not too long. But for right this second, I just need a thermostat that works. So I'm going to pull this one out. Should just pull straight out. I'm going to be very delicate, because if on the off chance this one doesn't work and it has to go back in, then I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Or I'll just run it without the thermostat. We'll just have all the cooling all the time in the middle of winter. Yeah, nice job. So update 7016. The thermostat they sold was the wrong one. They don't have the right one. It's coming tomorrow, so I'm just putting it back together. And this half an hour flush, no, 10-minute flush. 10-minute flush and fix is now on its second week. Yes. Development number 8926. The thermostat now opens. I don't know why, but having not replaced it, fucking put it back, having got the wrong part, ran out of attempt to bleed the system again. Apparently now it opens. So, thanks, car. Yeah, fuck you. But it's got heaters now anyway. They're not blisteringly hot, but they're warmer than room temperature, so that's close enough. And there's no air in the system anymore, so fuck it. I dare you to die. So, having had a moment of quiet reflection following that little outburst, it's not the car's fault. It's old. I'm old. It is what it is. You're going to get these sorts of problems, and do you know what? I do genuinely enjoy them. I enjoy fixing things. I enjoy working out problems, and I always seem to have problems that are abnormal, just weird and wonderful, and normally not that difficult to fix, but always end up being fun. So I'm not going to complain too much, and I'm sure there'll be more. And the weird and wonderful nature of the problems is why I started filming them anyway, because it's funny. I find it funny. And yeah, at the end of it, we have a good time. That was actually a really enjoyable day, despite taking about 7 hours and more backward steps than forward ones. It was a very enjoyable day. So, yeah, good car.